Hello and welcome back to another Big Finish Torchwood audio drama review. In today's review I'm going to be taking a look at the latest release as a part of the Torchwood main range. It is of course Empire of Shadows, as written by James Goss. This episode does of course feature the return of Zachery Cross Flane as portrayed by Sean Parks and is available to order from the Big Finish website now. The physical CD is £10.99 and the download is £8.99. Now although over the past few months we have kind of deviated from the Torchwood TV series, seeing quite a lot of rather experimental stories, it is very exciting to see Torchwood expand out and delve into its external media, and this episode is a great example of that, as we have the return of Zachery Cross Flane from the Doctor Who Series 2 story, Possible Planet and the Satan Pit, and he did of course represent the Torchwood archive. Admittedly, this release will not be for everyone, as it is quite far from the usual themes of the Torchwood main range series. However, if you are looking for something different, this release is most certainly one that is worth considering. The Big Finish Torchwood main range production team once more take this area of the Doctor Who universe into whole new universal territories, with Sean Parks reprising his role as Zachery Cross Flane. Empire of Shadows expands on the future of Torchwood within the Torchwood archive, with the organisation no longer having as much authority as it once had. Librarian Zachery and his synth artificial intelligence friend Chloe embark on a mission within the Cobalt Pyramid on the planet of Saletris, under orders of the new Emperor. Credit where it is due, James Goss, Scott Handcock and Tim Foley have really created some exciting Torchwood stories over the last few years, and they deserve a lot of credit, especially during lockdown, with the continued release of stories each and every month, and their strengths as a team is such a joy to hear flourish with each and every release. Blair Moat is also an irreplaceable force within this team, delivering soothing, atmospheric and dramatic music scores with each and every story. I always love how this series is so easy to listen to. Without the need of additional context, it's always welcoming and provides a great drama. Sean Parks contributes a superb performance, and I'd happily see his character return in the future. What I love is that he isn't simply a heroic, confident, all-powerful male character that simply knows everything. Instead, James Goss writes a character that is a tad out of his depth at some points and doesn't particularly enjoy the action moments that quite a lot of macho male characters are simply expected to kind of enjoy. He's got intelligence and loyalty to the Empire he serves, however this may sometimes blind his actions, and we see this come into force throughout the story's narrative. Amanda Shadeko is also brilliant as Chloe, representing the futuristic relationship between humans and androids and artificial intelligence. I love her quite cold yet straight to the point delivery of moments that humans would usually find quite awkward. Her dynamic with Zachery is lots of fun, and they play off each other's strengths very well. They act as a team and drive the narrative forward. Within 1 hour, the story builds a good foundation as to the background of the human empire, the awareness of how certain aliens are treated on the outer worlds, and the campaigns for equality. The rich feeding off the poor and exploiting their workforce, whilst all of this is disguised as the opening of a now-dead Empress's archive of data. I'd happily see this world explored in future Torchwood releases, in particular with Zachery Cross Flane. I was quite happy to see how invested I was within this rather different landscape for a Torchwood audio drama. However, even though we are in space, which is of course naturally a big change to the streets of Cardiff or Canary Wharf, some of the themes present throughout Torchwood still remain, such as the sacrifices that characters make whilst being a member of Torchwood and the effect that this has on the others around them. But equally it shows that regardless of how far humanity stretch out into space, those key societal issues also still remain a challenge. Empire of Shadows is a fun, easy plot to follow, with lots of great character moments that actually made me feel quite involved within the story. The production is slick and action-packed, and from this very release alone, I'd love to see Big Finish take the risk and do a whole box set surrounding Zachery Cross Flane's character, and maybe even see him unite with the Ood. If you're looking for an enjoyable 1 hour sci-fi adventure, this one is most definitely for you. The thing that I like most about Empire of Shadows is that it is doing something different, however still has at its core what a main Torchwood story is about. I wouldn't necessarily say that this Torchwood piece is an essential listen. I think that very little, in fact, of the Torchwood main range is what I would consider an essential listen, because the beauty about this range is that each individual release does something different, and certainly for the past few years, every single story is basically isolated, meaning that you can cherry pick stories that appeal to you, and the series can be considerably experimental. The Big Finish team can do whatever they want if they believe it can create an effective audio drama, so by saying that this release is not necessarily essential, it's not particularly a criticism. However, it is there for fans who wish to experience something different, and if you want to experience more of Zachery Cross Flane, having said previously like the character within Doctor Who Series 2, then this is an episode most certainly for you. In fact, due to it being a character from Doctor Who, this story does feature a lack of strong language or adult themes, which again I suppose is a hark back to actual Doctor Who itself, so again this story is a bit more accessible compared to some of your other Torchwood stories. I don't necessarily think that Empire of Shadows goes above and beyond to deliver something completely different, aside from the actual location setting and it being in space with an artificial intelligence. Beyond that, the actual plot itself is very easy to follow, but at the same time a rather soothing listen. So if you're looking for something that is very different to your usual story, then this episode may not be particularly for you. If anything, this episode is simply just enjoyable, and if we get to see more of Zachery in the future, this is certainly a very good start. It's a very easy story to get along with, and a very welcoming one at that. I'm looking forward to see what Big Finish do next with this range, because we seem to be getting more and more adventurous stories, in particular with the likes of Mr. Colchester and Ace having a story later this year as well. So thank you very much for watching this review. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Do of course stay tuned on the Host Productions for regular Doctor Who content, as well as regular Big Finish audio drama reviews covering many different ranges from the likes of Doctor Who, its spin-offs, and of course Torchwood. So on that note, have a nice day. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.